another video today. We got some new cards coming out of the VJUMP Special Edition. One of them is for Fusion Enforcers, and we got some Harpy Lady support even. So it's just a lot of legacy support, so let's just get right into it. So the first card we have here is Elemental Hero Honesty Neos. It is a level 7 Light Warrior type effect monster with 2500 attack, 2000 defense. You can only use the effect of this card, each effect of this card once a turn. So the stats on this card are basic standard. Basically, they're standard Neo stats. So the first effect is during either player's turn, you can discard this card, then target one hero monster you control. It gains 2500 attack during the end of this turn, or until the end of this turn. So basically, you can attack with this, and it'll gain 2500 attack. Your opponent attacks into it. Well, you're just going to pitch this card. I think you actually might run this card for that ability alone, actually. During either player's turn, you can discard one hero monster. This card gains attack equal to that monster's attack until the end of the turn. So I think that you're going to play this card simply for the first effect, to discard this card from your hand, then have your Dark Claws be 2500 attack stronger. The second effect is really not that important, I think, although it is useful. But I don't think you're going to have the ability to summon this card all that often, but it is a very interesting card. So the next card is the Harpy card. This is a Harpy Feather Storm. It is a normal trap card. If you control a Harpy monster, you could activate this card from your hand. If you control a Wing Beast type monster, negate all of your opponent's activated monster effects until the end of this turn. So for instance, if your opponent's playing against Dante, or if you're playing against Dante, and they flip this card up, Dante's effect is negated, and it loses its 1500 attack boost, which is really good. It stops continuous effects such as let's say if Cleafort Towers was still at 1 or was still legal, it would negate his effects as well. As I think except for the Floodgate ability, it wouldn't negate that, but I think like it would negate the discard effect as well. So it's a pretty decent effect. The second effect is not really as relevant, but if this card in the spell and trap card zone is destroyed by the opponent's card effect, you can add one Harpies Feather Duster from your deck or hand to or from a deck or graveyard to your hand. So it basically allows you to recoup Harpies Feather Dusters, which doesn't matter here in the TCG because it's not legal. So yeah, it's not very good. But and the next card is a Death Ultima, or in the US it's probably going to be called Chaos Scepter Blast. It is a quick play spell card, so that means it actually has a lot of flexibility. Activate if you control a level 8 or higher spellcaster type monster. Banish one card on the field face down, and you can banish any card face down. However, the requirements is really stupid. I think level 8 or higher. There's not very many level 8 or higher spellcaster type monsters that are viable at the moment. If this card was specifically for a Dark Magician and it said level 7 or higher, then it would make much more sense. But since it's not that, I think that effect is going to be mostly irrelevant. If this card is in your spell and trap card zone and is destroyed by your opponent's card effect, you can special summon one Magician of Black Chaos or Dark Magician of Chaos from your deck, ignoring the summoning conditions. Now, that's not a reason to play this card simply because you get DMoC from your deck and ignoring the summoning conditions. That's not a reason to play this card, mainly because of the fact that you have to be playing this card alongside this card, which generally isn't good. I'm glad that this card exists, but I don't think it's a good card in the slightest. I think this card is relatively slow and relatively ineffective for the most part as removal. Considering the really stupid conditions. So in the last card here, these are just reprints. And the last card here is Powerwall. It is a normal trap card. During damage calculation, when you would take battle damage from an opponent's attacking monster, send one card from the top of your deck to the graveyard for each 500 damage you would take from until it becomes 0. Now this card is actually very interesting. Some people might look at this card and say this card is actually not that great, simply because it activates during the battle step, or you're taking damage and stuff like that, damage calculations. I don't think that, actually. I think this card is actually going to be relatively decent, mainly because it sends the top card of your deck. So like, for example, if your opponent attacks with a Blue Eyes monster, you're sending 6 cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard, which generally isn't that bad. In this time frame where everything is pretty good in the graveyard. So I think that this card might actually see some play. Whether it will see some active play as a 1 of or a 2 of is begged to be seen, but I think you might see this card just being played in certain decks. You might actually see this being played in Infernoids as well, alongside Longbow next door, simply because it not only negates the damage, it prevents the damage, but you also get to send some Infernoids from the top of your deck to the graveyard, which isn't terrible. So, yeah. And the next cards we're talking about, False Adonis is a confirmed reprint, and we're also getting a Harpies, Feather Duster, and Magician's Faith reprint. I'm not sure if this is going to be for us, but it is a good thing at the very least. So anyway, guys, tell me what you guys think about these cards in the comment section down below. I will see you in the next video. This has been Team NMFO signing off.